you don't have to curse it. Be worth it. Flip the script. Flip the script. Reverse my scene. Do all the things that I am. My dream. Be worth it.
This is Royal Empowerment with Dr. Chanel Sermon. I am an educator, a minister, a life coach, a speaker, a pageant queen, and the founder of my own nonprofit organization. I share these things with you because I want you to know I have came a long way with trying to find out who I am in Christ. It is such a rewarding experience when you tap into the Word of God and find out that you are actually more than what some people have expected you to be. I want you to be empowered through these messages, and just follow me on Facebook, Instagram at I Am Pretty Doc. You can visit my website at IamPrettyDoc.com for more information about me. Enjoy the message. What I want to do definitely in this message is to encourage you all that has felt like you have been bypassed, that you have been stepped over, you have been looked around, you felt that you were next in line, but somehow where you were supposed to be next in line, people want to step around. And I want you to know God sees all and He knows all, and He knows that you were supposed to be next. He knows that you were supposed to be honored. He knows that you were supposed to be given credit for things that some people want to push around. And I want to let you know that you are going to get your flowers, and you're going to get your due rewards, okay? Because you got to remember who God is. We are so used to living and seeing things in the natural that we got to learn how to see how God works in the spiritual and manifest some changes to the natural. And I want to use the example of Joseph. All right. I want to use the example of Joseph because Joseph, and I hope we all know the story behind Joseph. Joseph being the youngest brother, okay? Joseph being the brother that was given the coat of many colors. And Joseph was already destined for greatness. And when his brothers got wind of it, because of course Joseph told them, now I will say this, you got to be careful who you tell certain things to. You really do. Because sometimes even your family, if you're not careful, they might be the ones to withhold the blessings from you. They might be the ones to try to withhold what's due to you. Okay? And look, that might not be for everybody that's listening, but I know there got to be some people on here that's feeling me on this. They got what I'm saying. They know what it's like when you have your own people to say you ain't qualified for this, you don't deserve this. Who the world are you supposed to be over me? You can't do nothing. This is the attitudes that some of us deal with. Okay? And again, Joseph's own brothers had sought to eliminate him, had sought to keep him from what was due to him. And even if it's not going on with family, sometimes the enemy will find a way in somebody's life to do the very thing. Okay, so if it's not family, sometimes it might be on the job. I've had that experience of where there's something that was due to me, but that recognition and credit was not given to me the way that it was supposed to have been given to me. And so, likewise, it could be on the family, it could be in the family, it could be on the job. I want y'all to know that this is what happens at times when you are destined to do some things, when you are destined to bring about change in people's lives, when you're destined to be a leader. And see, when I look at Joseph, it puts me in the mind of David, because Joseph, he was the youngest, and wasn't David the youngest? Okay? And look at how God used what people thought was the least to be the greatest. Look at how God used what people thought were the nobodies, or the incompetent ones, or the least deserving ones, for whatever reason, because sometimes people come up with their reasons in their minds as to why you don't deserve, or you are not entitled to, or you shouldn't lead. It ain't got nothing to do with what you did. Sometimes it could just be that, oh, well, you too young. Well, oh, you don't have the experience. Well, oh, you don't know this, or you don't know that. And let me tell you something, okay? When it comes to God, if it's for you, all you got to know is God. I'm not saying that, now listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have something behind you, or some type of backing. But what I'm saying is, when it concerns God, even so, God can use anybody he wishes. Without experience, lack of experience, little experience, whatever it is, God can use anybody he wishes. Okay? So I say this because, again, people will use their qualifiers to tell you that you don't deserve this, you shouldn't be in this spot. But because of God and who God is, God knows how to set the record straight. So those of y'all that are in families, on jobs, maybe even in relationships where people underestimate what you do, your value, don't give you credit, watch God. Watch God move things around where you get to where you belong. And see, that's what happened with Joseph. That's what happened with David. Okay? And with Joseph now, even though he got to where he was supposed to be, and the way Joseph got to where he was supposed to be, come on now. Think about it, y'all. Think about this, because what happened with Joseph was amazing. All right, his brothers wanted to make sure that Joseph was gone. All right, and at the end of the day, because of what God had planned, because of the orchestrations, the detours with Joseph ended up being handed over a position at the top of a Pharaoh's house. Pharaoh, just like the Pharaoh at that time, was just like, I'm gonna put you in charge, Joseph. You dominate the land. Because of God, because of what God placed in Joseph. So God got things in y'all where it's gonna be some people gonna be like, hey, you take the lead. I don't care what your background is. I like what I see in you. You take the lead. And you know why why that's gonna happen to some of y'all? That's gonna happen because you know what's important. You have what's important on the inside of you. See, it doesn't matter how educated you are. It doesn't matter how well liked you are if you do not know who God is, if you do not have a relationship with God, if you do not have morals, if you do not have values, it does not matter. You know why? You can't serve anybody truthfully being a superficial person. Okay? Let me repeat that. You cannot serve anybody truthfully, fervently, honestly, being a superficial person, being a person that is not genuine, being a person that only got looks, that only got money, that only got things that don't heal a person from the inside out, things that don't give people answers. So I want y'all to know that having God in your life to lead you, to guide you, overrides whatever expectation, whatever descriptors, whatever identifiers that people use to try to figure out, are you qualified enough? And sometimes people come up with their own identifiers because they're jealous and they're scared you're going to succeed. And that's what happened with Joseph. The brothers, they're being older than Joseph. They got jealous. They ain't like what they hear. So they tried to get rid of him. And let me tell you, when God got his hand on you, they can't get rid of you. Because they had to hear about Joseph one day. And at the end of the day, they went through some things in order to respect Joseph, in order to recognize that Joseph is somebody that God had put in place. And then God got the glory out of it, because now so many people can listen to this story and go to this story and realize that though some people have tried to do so much evil to you, what was meant for my harm, God used for my good. And that's what Joseph had relayed to his brethren. That's what Joseph had mentioned in the Bible. What was meant for his harm, what was intended for his evil, God used it for his good. And look, I consider that the royal anointing. Come on now. Come on. When people try to get rid of you and God put you in a place that they can't take you from. That's the type of God we serve. We serve the type of God that knows how to get the ones that people has bypassed, overstepped, stepped over, ignored, tried to cover up, tried to hide. God knows how to put them in a place where, okay, look, what they did to you, that ain't nothing compared to what I'm about to turn around for your good. What they did to you, they tried to hide you. What I'm gonna do for you, I'm going to put you out there. I'm going to put you in a space. I'm going to put you in a space where they can't help but notice you. I'm going to put you in a space where they can't help but recognize what I put on the inside of you. Because truthfully too, since we're being transparent about why some people won't give you your due credit, why some people, they're trying to get rid of you, they're trying to annihilate you. Because for one, some of them, they even see the light on the inside. Some of them don't even know why they do certain things to you. They just know they don't like you. They just know they don't like you. And it's real simple when you got a dynamic like that. They don't like you because you're light. They don't like you because you shine the way you're supposed to shine. And the feeling that they get when they're around you is the same way when you if you were sitting in darkness for a long time in a room, and then you open the blinds or you turn on the light and light goes into your eyes, the sun rays are in your eyes, you feel that light, and it makes you squint. You can't take, you gotta blink your eyes sometimes. You may have to close your eyes and take a break for a moment just for your pupils to adjust to that light. And that's how some people are with you. And some people, they can't stand your light. That's what your light do to them. Your light make them turn. Your light make them squirm. Your light make them adjust. Okay? And I know when you're going through, especially if you listen to this message and you're going through and you thinking like, who am I? Why would somebody be jealous of me? Why would somebody hate on me? Why would somebody want to do this to me and I ain't done nothing to them? Well, unfortunately, when you carry something valuable on the inside that they don't have or they have not attained and they don't know how to obtain it, sometimes that's what jealousy will drive some people to do. And it's not that they can't receive Jesus, but they don't want to do what it takes. And that has nothing to do with you. But again, you are God's prized possession. And I want to let y'all know once again, as I started out in this message, okay? Don't worry about people trying to navigate giving what's due to you. Don't try to make them. Only thing you got to do is shine the way that God has intended you to shine. Do your work. Do your work. Because even sometimes when we look at our employers, we look at our bosses or whatever, and we see these positions. But what we got to see more than those positions, we got to see God at work. We got to see God showing you and showing them who's God. Because you don't know how things can change. You don't know how God can move some stuff around where what they thought they was going to do to you, they can't do to you, or they ain't going to do to you. So even with employers or supervisors or whoever think that they have an upper hand on you, whoever think that, well, we're not going to recognize him and we're not going to recognize her, we're not going to acknowledge him for all the good that he has done, we're not going to acknowledge her for all the good that she has done, we're just going to look at somebody else that we like. And when they do that to you, get ready for God to turn it back around. Get ready for God to do what they was trying not to do for you. Okay? Look, y'all, I got some testimonies now. I got some testimonies on some stuff like that. Okay? And even so, for some of y'all that got the Job experience, let's say directly dealing with your family. All right, let's say, because you got some of y'all that's supposed to be next in line, but because of dysfunction and chaos in your family, for whatever reason, they don't want you to be next in line for what's due to you. They don't want to be fair to you. They don't want to split even with you. And I've dealt with something like that, but I came to the conclusion with some divine intervention, through God, one of God's people, and even looking at it from the perspective that was given. You got to remember who God is. You got to remember that God can get you what's due to you, even when it looks like they're not going to give you what's due to you. So if you're not being split fairly with certain things in your family, if you're not being treated fairly, if you're being disregarded or discarded, your views and your stuff don't matter, look, remember Joseph. Because the brothers, they tried to move him out the way. They tried to keep him from walking into what was due to him. Same thing with y'all. Look, for some of y'all experience, okay? If there's an inheritance due to y'all and nobody wants to give it to you, nobody wants to be fair about it, guess what? God will give you ideas to create your own wealth. You ain't got to wait on an inheritance. And that thing that everybody going after in your family or whatever, you ain't gonna even want it. You let them, it's gonna be like dogs fighting over a bone, but you won't be the dog fighting over the bone because they didn't want you to get a piece of that. So look at it like that. That's really a bone. That's a bone that you don't need. God has something in you, ideas, stories, testimonies, things that you can monetize off of. Okay, things that you can grow your ministries off of, grow your business, your careers and things off of. So again, when people want to deny you what belongs to you, keep moving forward. And know that God know how to get what's due to you in your hands and in your lane without their help. God bless y'all and be encouraged. I hope you enjoyed that message. Please be sure to follow me on Facebook and even on Instagram to get access to reels just like this throughout the week. God bless, and I will see you in the next broadcast. When you get in your purpose, people are going to know who you are without even knowing your name.